Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Behind the Scenes podcast, The Alchemist Process. Today, we're going to talk about the power and the energy of the Thunderbolt and balancing out energies, because that's what it's all about. Finding alignment and balancing out. So the soul strives for alignment with, so if source, the creator, God, spirit, whatever you want to call it, that separated itself into small pieces, and that is the soul. So it's like when the drop realizes it's an ocean, that expression is very beautiful, because that is when the soul realizes that it is God. And that it doesn't mean that you should, walk around pretending to be God. And that's where people kind of get it a little bit wrong, kind of misread the manual a little bit. And it's the soul's attempt to align with itself. So it's like attracting itself back to itself. So it's like two magnets. And that is guided by the heart. So the Thunderbolt is the equalizer when energetic balance is not, when it's not aligned. So when does it thunder? It thunders when it's hot and cold meeting. So it's the collision of the elements. So when the difference between the elements are too wide or too big, there's a thunderbolt that kind of cuts through the energy, and it kind of balances itself out again. The humidity that comes before the thunder or the rain or the heat. And then it balances out, and then the coolness comes. So it's like there's this equalizing energy. And when the soul is attempting to align with itself, so in my research as the self-proclaimed Sherlock Holmes of human potential, I'm using that to describe what I do. That's how I feel. It feels like I'm putting pieces together, following different clues, and having extraordinary results. I've gone from mud to lotus on that journey. Absolutely. It's a remarkable transformation of the experience. And I can honestly say that I found what I'm looking for, what I was looking for. And from here, it's just refinement. But there's a sense of arrival, and that is what is balancing out at the moment. So I'm halfway in the 108 days. And yesterday was 54. So that is literally half, or if it was 55, and we're in the middle, where I feel that I'm going from the masculine and leaning even more into the feminine. And this is connected with the voice, the work with the voice that I've been doing. So as I'm accessing, so I've been really purging a level of fear this week. And we even got it on camera when it happened. And it was just silent. It was super cool. It was, so So this is part of the balancing. So you have to stick with me. There's a lot of information. It's been a week. And I really can see that I have been really using my masculine energy to get me to this point in life. So I can see the benefit, and I'm so grateful for being able to, that I've been having access to that resource. But now it's time to leave that behind. And that can't really be embodied unless I started to release the fear in the bladder. So I've been asking Simba to open the fascia in the bladder. So we have that on camera, and he does a chest compression. It's because I could feel that there was around the heart. And I mean, I've been explaining all of this in the 108 days. And that's what it's so, I'm so happy that I've done that. But it's like I have arrived somewhere, and this also matches the energetics that is going on the planet at the moment, where we are going clearly from masculine energy to feminine energy. So the level of efforting that I've been doing in my life is just very unhealthy, and I can feel that my whole being is not designed for that. So because I have been overriding my physical body with less nurture and less abundance and more efforting and masculine, performance, and taking pride in not sleeping and work. I mean, just real, eating by the computer, and oh my God, not thinking that I'm good enough. It's detrimental to the soul. Absolutely detrimental to the soul. But I've learned a lot, and there was someone that I work with that said, I'm realizing what you've been through. It's quite a lot. And I'm like, wow, 3 things. I'm like, oh, there's like 20 more. So, and then I started to realize, that the level of efforting and the level of armor that I've built up to kind of get through this life until now. And there's just something in my body that is just allergic to any kind. It's like, and so Simba and I are really stepping, it's like he's stepping so much more into his masculine, and I'm leaning into my feminine. Simba is stepping into his masculine to the level that I don't know what you call this, but when you have bow legs, I think it is. So he has bow legs, and that has been his, thing his whole life that he, doesn't like. And it's been a whole thing. Those are straightening out now. It's wild. So the physical representation of the level of consciousness in the body is real. Where were I going? Yes. So I'm leaning into the feminine, because when he's, really stepping up in the masculine, my inner masculine don't have to do that. So now there's so many things that I've been doing for myself that he's just taking care of. Like today, and this is where I'm going to get also with the energetics about the Thunderbolt, because we lost power today and my day was, fully booked. So he's stepping into his masculine. So it's about equalizing energies. So if I've been in one output, so I'm 48, turning 49 in a month. Incredible. I've never been like, oh, we don't need to celebrate my birthday. I'm like, we're gonna celebrate. I'm gonna just, wow, I'm gonna lean into the receiving, big time. And if I've been in that output, oh, I don't need anything, I don't need anyone, I can take care of myself, and all of this abandonment stuff also, that I have to make it on my own, and all of that. I mean, that there's a lot of energy behind that. So when the masculine support is kind of rising next to me, and things, and also the astrology is supporting, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of, this is why people are saying that, that there's an opportunity for a lot of manifestation, because, but that's like, it's not like last minute shopping. It's not like, the sale is, it's like Christmas shopping. Like, you need to get your Christmas shopping before Christmas. I mean, that's the whole point, right? But there's just no, the time is just fiction. Does that make sense? Okay, something's happening. Interesting. Yeah, so there's an absolute shift from this. It's just impossible to effort. It's like my body is going into some sort of strike. in even now, when I go into a little bit fiery explanation and like sharing stories, it's like the body is just like, no, I'm just going to shut it off. And that's why, I mean, it has something to do with my voice and who I am. And I've been sensing that who I am is not truly who I am. And it's connected to this level of, yeah, so there's pressure releasing as I speak to it. So there's a huge shift. And my body's not having it. It's like, no, we're gonna take care of ourselves now. There's just that, and that's why I'm saying that what I do is really just next level self-care, because this overriding the body is not going to be astrologically supported anymore. It's been possible to do that, and I'm sensing that is just going to disappear. And that's what everyone says. Oh yeah, it was the last minute shopping. It's like, yes, it's the 8/8 portal tomorrow. Yes, it's super powerful, but it's like, you can't make any last minute changes. This is like a result of the work that you've been doing for the past years. So it's like the portal is happening, and that is true, but there's just nothing, writing your stuff on the thing on the day is not going to change anything, because it's like, you are who you are. And just because you kind of try to make it up that day, that's not going to change anything. It's your intention between the days that actually counts. The work that you do behind the scenes when nobody's watching, when the portal is not watching. Like, when you're not getting a bonus, are you still shopping there? Like, if you wouldn't get a discount, would you still be there shopping? Or are you only buying it because there's the discount? There's like the old structures that you could get away with that. But there's a new sheriff in town. That's literally how it feels energetically. Because I've been observing this since I was born, and I'm noticing remarkable differences. And who you are will just be amplified. So if you're behind the scenes is not walking your talk, because if anything is possible and we are source creators, then I can create whatever I want. So whatever I'm creating, that's where I'm going, because we're always creating. Consciously or unconsciously, we are creating with all our thoughts, all our words, and all our actions. And if we speak to our problems, if we think about our problems, we talk about our problems, And this is the thing about. If we think about problems, if we talk about problems, then we are creating problems. So if we're on that path, this portal is just going to go, you're just going to go deeper into that. Even if you're, I pray for good in the world, or whatever beautiful things, you write on the thing. But if your thoughts, words, and actions are, blaming others, not taking accountability for what you're doing, not looking at yourself as something in constant, evolution, and actually, applying critical thinking on yourself and others. So if there's an imbalance towards judgment or the illusions of the world, and this is what I'm actually going to break down in the mastermind. We're going to start breaking down the illusions of the world. That has been requested for a while from people that have been working with me, and it's time to do that. So when you are engaging in fear or judgment, or things that, like behavior that is imbalanced, and that's really what it is. There needs to be balance, because we're always two to tango. We attract what we are. So if I'm attracting people with a certain behavior that I don't like, it's 99.999999999%, because that's how it works. We attract what we are, to get mirrored and like, oh, I don't want to do that. And you don't do that until you really get hit in the face with something that you don't like. And that's the thunderbolt. That's the beautiful collision. It's the imbalance. So if we are acting, thinking, and thinking is connected with the intention. So the thinking, speaking, and actions. So if that's not aligned with the soul, trying to find its way back home, but instead we are engaging with fear and doubt and other illusions, then we're not getting there. And then we need the thunderbolt, the challenge, to propel us there. So that then it comes like a huge lesson to propel us forward, because the situation that is presented includes, so life is clues. That's why I call myself Sherlock Holmes, because you have to be able to kind of put things together. And that's why, Zelda, Ocarina of Time, that's how it is. You have to kind of go over there and do the thing. And that's why, like, I'm doing a lot of references to sports, to video games, to sci-fi, because it's all represented all around us. All the universal laws and the energetical puzzle that it is. It's about alignment with that, the embodiment, not understanding it, not getting it, and then not applying it. It's like you have to apply. You can't pretend that you get it and then look like you're getting it, because everything is transparent, everything is energy. It's like you can't hide that. So that's the feminine. It's like everything is transparent. It's all energy. There's no structures. There's no rules. There's a completely different energy that is not rewarded, but aligning with. So it's easy. It's been easier to align with the masculine structures for a long, long time. And now it's easier. I don't know if that's I'm trying to explain an experience, which is not always easy because I'm on the edge of my own realizations. And that is what's being forced to the forefront when I'm under pressure, under lives like this. So this is a very masculine way for me to kind of bring the best out of me. But what I'm noticing is that it's working, but it's been working to a point where I don't need it anymore. So the Thunderbolt that came in with the thunder, with actual thunder, and that caused the power break. Because I mean, we're in Thailand, this happens, the whole village is, out. It's just nothing you can do. So I had to go somewhere and, set myself up. And I realized I was efforting. I was just pushing through. I was like, to what extent am I, trying to move under very narrow circumstances, short periods of time. There's just no abundance in that kind of behavior. And I'm getting mirrored back so enormously that it's time for me to literally stop the level of masculine output. So I need to shift a bit of things in how I'm doing things and really listen to the body. So the Friday podcasts are going to still be here, but I'm going to start including people. So so my energetic setup is that I'm more of a sacral generator in the response. I work best together with other people. And that's why I had such a hard time with these solo riffings. So to be able to work through that, I put in a lot of masculine structure to show up 108 days. So 108 days for a feminine to show up regularly is a very big stretch. So I knew that. But if I stretch that, the masculine, then I will also stretch the feminine. So I know that whatever pressure I put on myself, it will be rewarded. So I did put a lot of pressure in the masculine. It's almost like I could sense that time is running out. So I did do the last minute shopping, but I did it energetically and I did it ahead of time so that I did have time to do it. So I'm about 6 months ahead. That's where I started. So, okay. And now halfway through the second round, okay, what starts to feel like I'm imbalanced? So the delivery of the thunder, because the Thunderbolt has been arriving for a couple of weeks. So that has also been presenting itself, that I'm arriving. And today, choof, it came. I rushed out. And I didn't bring what I needed. I brought all the masculine stuff. And when we were in the car to make it on time for my session, I didn't bring anything to take care of me. So that revealed like a lot of what happens when something happens. Okay, I, twist and turn myself to adapt to the new masculine circumstances, like time pressure, logistics, technology. It was a lot of heat because when the power goes out, it gets warm quickly. You can't even have your computer in a room. It just gets warm just by being there. You got to keep your stuff where it's cool and such. So it's a big deal when the power goes off. And this whole experience was absolutely divine. And I could really feel like, okay, there are some things that I need to change. I'm still stretching myself, putting myself under very unnecessary and unhealthy stress. So there's stuff that I'm shifting there. But it's also about the output in these podcasts. There's no point for me to sit here and talk alone anymore, because people are showing up that I want to have conversations with. So Simba and I are coming together. I want to show more practical things as well with Simba. So Simba and I are going deeper into the lifestyle aspects of things inside of the Wellspring. And to accompany that, we have the Internal Alchemy podcasts. But that is really my initiative nowadays. So I think I'm just gonna I'm just gonna take that and put it under my label and my brand. And then Simba can take care of his own podcast. That's like the feminine. I'm not gonna run his podcast. He can run his own podcast. Like, I'm gonna run my podcast. You come in and visit me. And I say that I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. It's like, I don't sit around and wait for someone else. So I'm taking my power back that way. And also, there's something about sitting here for an hour just talking about myself that it's like I'm getting thirsty. My mouth is getting, it's like, it's imbalanced. It's imbalanced for me. And this is what I teach people, to find their balance, because my balance is not your balance, because I know that your energetic setup is not the same as mine. And once I can feel your energetic setup and know it and look at that, then I can see what is fitting for you. But just applying everything that I do without knowing that there's actually one person that can take anything I say and just apply it. This is the most insane interaction that I've ever had, actually. Okay, there's a lady that I met during, we're in the same kind of world, and I've seen her around, and we started connecting, and then we started talking, and then over time we started talking, and her energetic setup is, almost identical as mine, but she is one cycle younger than me. And this is very interesting. Anyway, sidetrack, just because I'm excited. Maybe I bring her on. It's like to bring in conversations and to take things to a next level, because I'm also getting bored of just listening to myself and hear my own voice. So there's a level of narcissism that is leaving also. It doesn't always have to be about me. No, but there's a balance. So the Thunderbolt, the energy of the Thunderbolt comes in and it feels like a collision. So today with the power cut, it really felt like a collision. And when I was in the car, I got really upset with myself for not taking care of myself at all in the 20 minutes where I got ready and brought it. It's like, wow, that was such a wake-up call for me. That was like, wow. So I was like, first, the Thunderbolt goes under force majeure. There's like, if there's no power, there's no session. Like, and the person, it was so fun, because the person that I had the session with, she basically said this thing. To what extent are you going to make this thing happen? Are you out of balance, maybe? And that's what I realized. So I told Simba, like 5 minutes in the car, I was like, we're doing this once, because it also forced me to a place and a position where I wouldn't have gone by myself. So there's the challenge forces us into the uncomfortable spaces that we are kind of unwilling to look at. That is the beauty and the gift and the treasure that the challenge is. So that's what my clients are doing. It's not even clients. They're clients, people that work with me, people that pay me money to fix their lives. If that's a client, I don't know. I have a problem with hierarchy. I like balance. So I don't know what to call it. So whatever that means. But anyway, so where was I going? So now I kind of trigger in myself. Yeah, so she said, like, she mirrored that back to me, but I realized that, okay, the play, I could see very quickly where life was forcing me to go, which I had clearly been avoiding. And during the whole process of me surrendering to this circumstance, I was energetically kicking and screaming to a point where Simba was like, okay, you got to calm down now. And I just really didn't want to do what I was, forced to do by life, by the Thunderbolt. But I realized that, okay, this is going to be some things are going to be on the other side, and this is going to be very transformative. And it was really, this day has been phenomenal, but it's been challenging. But that's the point. Like, when you start to learn that you alchemize the challenge, then when you alchemize the challenge, that's where you access the quantum energy. That's when you start to shift time, you start to shift circumstances. And this is also why it's time to start bringing people in, because now people can. So the difficult thing when you do this kind of work is that you feel what's happening, but it's so difficult to put it into words because it takes time. It's like you start to listen, you start to use your senses in a completely different way. It's like you're shifting your complete awareness in a way. No, not why did I add that? No, you're shifting your awareness and you're aligning with, the God consciousness. It's like the little soul wants to align with the big soul. So we are remembering that we are it, and that's the excitement. And when you are remembering, you feel, it's like, I know this feels so right, but the human doesn't have a clue about what's going on. But then after a while you start to see, and then you start to see changes in your life. And this is why, so there's two people that are really ready to really start to converse with me about these experiences and start to talk about this type of practices from a very human and real life perspective. So I'm going to start having these conversations, and the podcast is still going to be here on Fridays at 3 p.m. But they might not be live, because I can't bring anyone into the live calls on YouTube. So I have to pre-record it, but it's going to be weekly released. So either there will be something published on Fridays at 3, or I will come on live, because I can bring Simba in on live. We can do work together. He can, we can talk about different things. And sometimes life is just not going to bring me anything, and then I'm here again, So what's happening is that I'm really, really embodying my own teachings, like, fully. And now, because the last couple of years, it was so unbalanced, because Simba and eyes, is that correct English? The output that we were doing, it was just ridiculous. People were living in our home. We didn't have any time for ourselves. It's like the opposite of what we tell our clients. You need time to process. But that also says a lot about our capacity and the speed that we will be, balancing ourselves out. Because when a thunderbolt of that size comes in, it's to equalize something. And when you can realize, like, oh shit, here comes the wave, Two choices. Either it's a tsunami and we all drown, or Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I'm gonna take it to Bermuda, Bahamas. You know, you gotta surf with it. You gotta roll with the punches, as we say in martial arts. You know, if it's a fight, it's a fight. You gotta step up. You know, it's like if someone punches you in the nose, then you know it's game on. You know, you can't just, you know, pretend like that's not happening. But you can't make it to the most awful experience of your life. You have to turn it into the best experience of your life. So the bigger the challenge, the bigger the gift. So the Thunderbolt always, it's like there's a reason why it's like golden and, you know, Zeus. I'm so bad at all of these analogies. I mean, I literally had to ask Simba the other day, like, okay, explain Zeus. Because, you know, I've never been into astrology. I've never been into fantasy. I mean, I've been watching everything, but it's like I didn't realize I was watching documentaries. I mean, I'm literally figuring that out lately. So, you know, because what I'm experiencing all of a sudden is portrayed around me everywhere. And I'm like, okay, so I'm clearly not the only one experiencing this. This is, you know, everything is built around. It's like you see it everywhere. So now it's time to physically surrender to the feminine energetics that has been pounding on my door for years. So I'm going to kick back and relax a little bit and just do the things that I enjoy. I wrote a Facebook post that I haven't posted yet that says, I'm officially retiring. Like, I'm never going to work another day in my life. That's how it feels. Like I refuse to work. It's like, it's just, I don't know. I can just really relate with people who are working under, you know, horrific circumstances. I'm not saying that that's what I've been. It's like, but there's an energy that is just, it feels like there's been not decades, like lifetime after lifetime after lifetime for so many people that it's just been, you know, awful experiences where you've been just depleting your nourishment, like the level, there's like it's like a collective malnourishment energetically on a soul level. It's like we're so far away from who we truly are, and you know, the way that we treat each other, and you know, it's like there's a lot of room for improvement, you know. And I'm wildly optimistic. But on a personal level, it's time to kind of put something down, because the level of efforting that I've been contributing with to the system, something says enough. Johnny says relax. So it's about really looking at, you know, there's not a quality level. It's not about like, oh, now I'm going to do less. No, I'm going to probably do more because my energy is going up. But I need to do more of what is aligned with me. And aligned with me is to not carry the podcast 100% myself, like 50-50. There's another person who also is smart and intelligent and says, you know, good things and brings out the best in me. And I bring out the best in them, like the collaboration. That's when the Kundalini opens. That's when, you know, that's what Zeus, or the Thunderbolt, and the collision and the challenges is asking us, because we're going astray from something. So when something negative or challenging or stressful is happening, it's like it's like you're going into the atmosphere. When they go through the atmosphere, when you go into space, when there's like, that's like, okay, you're going too far out now. That's the communication from the universe. Like, you're out of your comfort zone for real. Like, you're out of your life zone. You don't operate out here. You're leaving your it's like you're fish in water, like you're leaving your element, literally. So it's about listening to the body, because the body always knows. And that's the difficult, because what the body knows and what the body is asking to go through in order to liberate itself is very uncomfortable. It requires us to look at where we are, living in fears that are illusions, where we are not taking care of ourselves in a way that is supporting, the system. Because when people start to really nourish themselves, and the nourishment is just so beyond what you eat and drink. It's on a cellular level. And what people are reporting back now is like, when they change, their environment changes to a point where they are like, and that's when things start to get interesting. Because when you start to really change yourself, things start to, as within, as without. So if you have been, attracting the challenges in order to course correct, so when you start to alchemize the challenges and you start to realize, like, oh, okay, I when I as I understand the principles of alchemization, and the alchemization is taking something negative, usually fear, because the root of most issues are fear. So when you take anything that is run by fear in your system, in your habits, in everyday life, in your belief systems, when you realize and you learn the principles of how to do that, you can start to apply that to everything else. And then people don't really need that much guidance, and things start to work by itself. And that's when things start to get interesting. But it takes a little bit of time to, so the belief system is that we won't survive out in space, but the turbulence is the belief systems. So there's a level of uncertainty and, oh my God, what's going on? And I've been flying since I was a child. I flew with my brother alone for the first time when I was 6. And that was scary. And every time I fly, there's a level of, when we go through the turbulence, I'm like, this is not a good idea. My whole system is like, we're really fish out of water here. Is this like that, And then you get to the other place, and then you go, wow, I'm so happy I did that. When you fly across the pond and you go to the States, or, you go to Thailand, or, you go to Africa, or it's like there's a new experience waiting on the other side of the turbulence, of the challenge, of the thunderbolt, because there's an energetic balance that needs to occur. And the way that the nervous system works is that we attract the challenges that the body knows exactly what to attract. It will track the exact experience every single time, and it will keep repeating it until you understand. So you will have the same type of experience over and over again until we learn the lesson. Something changes consciously or unconsciously. So the thunder is our gift. That's the source of alchemy. Otherwise, then that's, the contrast is how this world is created, this planet. That's how that we can't really get out of that. So it's about surrendering to the elements of this planet, not trying to. It feels like, when they say, oh, we're going to build life on Mars, it feels like there's another species that says, let's recreate our environment on Earth. But that's against all the elements. Like, yeah, but then we will survive. Yeah, but that won't survive. Whatever is on the planet will not survive. And they go, I don't care as long as I survive. That's like, because we're living so deeply out of alignment with the nature, like how nature actually works, and everything is balanced. And when we balance, peace arrives. And when peace arrives, that's when efforting becomes really difficult, because you can feel how awful it is. And that's what I experienced today, because we really started to set up like everything's really balancing. And I got a taste of unbalanced very quickly, and that was like horrific. And my body just like, okay, we're not gonna. So I realized, okay, this is the habits and the patterns that I need to apply in order to create even more alignment. And I can feel how, like, taking that pressure off is having an effect on how I operate, how I speak, how I want to live life. So the body doesn't want to show up for an hour and kind of activate this masculine effort to talk this much, if that makes sense. And then, okay, so if the podcast is still happening, and then parallel, I'm already having these conversations with these people about having conversations with these people, but I didn't have a home for it. And then this happened today, and I realized, oh, I do have a home for it. There's just, and then I go, ah. Then you know that, okay, you're doing the right thing. So it's like allow, and this is where there's this, the fact that we're creating most of our sufferings, because it's how we think about them, talk about them, act about them, that defines what is happening. And that we choose if we have a problem or if we have a situation. And that's a internal skill. And when you learn that skill, then there's so much of the fear and the efforting and the pushing and thriving or striving that automatically releases from the system. Yeah, I'm literally thinking. So I can also sense how this is arriving into my life on a larger scale. So there is actually, it's like I can look to the left and look at my life, and I can see like, I can see how this will need to be balanced out in the future. And that life is going to look different, and my level of output is going to look different. It's going to be much, much, much more balanced. So the 108 days and the podcast and everything is to accelerate something. It was like, if you're going to go bet on something, you have to bring something to bet with that you are, risking to lose. So the 108 days, both 1 and 2, that is my, energetic output, that I don't know what I'm going to get returned. It's like I have no clue. But I mean, in true Sarah manner, if I'm going to do something, I do it all the way. So then it was 108 days to just, like, I'm just going to smash this internal problem. I just don't want, if I'm going to go for it, I go for the kill. Like, if I'm not keeping this, and that this is going to take it. It's like the what is it, Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he goes into that, weapons shop, and he's just done with whoever he's dealing with, and shotgun, no. I'm taking the biggest. It's like we're dealing with this now. It's like the determination is huge from my end. And then it only took 1 month, and then I decided to another 108 days, and now and then I decided that there was going to be a third. So the third is going to look very different from comments. Hello. Very cool sunglasses. I love that. So, okay, now I lost myself. I start thinking about completely other things. Proud of you. Yes, I've been good. I'm doing excellent. Thank you very much. I hope you have too. So, getting some comments here. Anyway, efforting is just not going to be part of my repertoire anymore. So it's about really, it's the same creative input, but it's completely different. And because there's been so much output. Oh yeah, so I think that there's another 108 days coming. I said that it was going to be 3, so then I'm going to keep that, because once I said it, that's thought, word, action. I'm not going to pull back on that, but it's going to look different. I'm probably going to be more supported in it. But the output that I'm putting is, I can see that it's having ripples, but it takes longer for them to for something to respond. It's like a sonar, it's like, to the point where you think, oh, nothing is coming back. And then you go, oh, something came, and then another thing came, and then another thing came, and another thing came. So I'm getting responses. I'm getting responses that the creativity and the trust into the darks and the nothingness for the first and a half 108 days is now starting to really mirror something back to me. So I know I'm on the right track. And that's also, the physical embodiment of it is the nervous system actually, realizing that it's doesn't need efforting anymore. So there's a point where I know that I wouldn't have been able to do this until now. And there's so many levels to that. And there's so much proof too. It's like all of the challenges and everything is just, it's so much in my favor. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I'm so amazed of how this thing called life actually works. And during these 108 days, I realized, like, I'm energetically made as a, press and play music box. So I did a huge press and play music box on myself that costed me a lot of energy. And now I'm not doing that anymore. And then I'm going to just show us up as the actual press and play music box, because I had to activate the voice first. So it's like I had to become the music box first. But to become it, I have to start playing it. It's a weird analogy, I know, but that's how it feels. But now it feels like, okay, I'm arriving to something, to that. The mastermind is falling into place. I'm making yesterday in the 108 days, I made the analogy of that I think we're 8 Swedish Vikings. I have 8 Swedish Vikings, and they're all, so deeply connected to the water element. Most of them have boats, even own ships that they navigate by themselves. They're captains of the sea. It's so cool. So I literally have a boat with Swedish women Vikings rowing out on international waters. So the mastermind with my Swedish women is going international. So now we're inviting other epic women into the mastermind, and it begins August 26th. So everything is changing. Everything is, I can feel it. I can feel that, and you can see how happy I get. It's like there's like on a soul level, like, it's so nice. So from now on, what a epic joke it would be if I show up myself next week, because I haven't recorded anything yet. Change is the only constant. Absolutely. Excellence is the commitment to completion. Absolutely. That's the only thing. That's like the challenges allows you to prove who you are to yourself and show up. It's like a second chance. It's like a second chance to do things right. And boy, it feels good to do. It's not about right or wrong. It's like alignment. That's the thing. The judgment system is like comparing judgment. That is not part of nature. That is there's something else. That is part of the illusions. That's not part of this, how the energetics works here. And that's what creates separation and the heartbreaking, honestly. So this is it for me. I'm so proud of myself for allowing support to come in and allowing other voices and to just bring this conversation to another level, and having people to talk to about it. And yeah, it just feels absolutely natural, and I get to reevaluate my resources. So the effort that I'm not putting in there is going to go straight back to my own health. So, and my energy is already going up. So when I distribute my energy where it belongs, that's when the universe or life starts to respond in a different way. So interesting times. Okay. That's it. Thank you so much. I wish you a beautiful weekend, a beautiful day, whenever you listen to this. And that's it. If you enjoy this content, like and subscribe. If you have questions, you can comment. I'm happy to reply. And I will see you next Friday, probably in a pre-recorded state or with someone with me. Thank you. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.